Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm actually at my cottage. I love it here. The water is beautiful, the birds are around. It's a beautiful day. I think it's 22 degrees right now, so it's like the perfect weather. I have my little sweater on. But whenever I'm at my cottage I feel really reflective and just very spiritual and intuitive, honestly. And I feel like I tap into this side of me that's very, very reflective. So I thought, what better video to make than 24 things I've learned for 24. I'm turning 24 next week, June 8th, and I'm feeling really excited about it. I'm like very grateful and happy with the things in my life, and I feel like I've cultivated that through the things I'm about to tell you. Okay, so I wrote everything down in this Voyager notebook I got from Amazon. I actually brought it with me to the Philippines. If you have seen those videos, I posted quite a few. But I wrote everything down in it so that I can tell you. Okay. Number 1, it's not enough to think confidently, you have to act it too. It is not enough to think confidently, you have to act it too. The amount of times that I feel like I've seen or heard people say, well, I like myself, or I am pretty, or I'm smart, or I'm this, or I'm that, and speak from a confident place, which is honestly the first step to confidence, to cultivating real confidence, and is important, and affirmations are so important. But unless you're gonna walk the walk, the talk's not really doing much, right? So I see so many people that say these nice things about themselves and then continuously show up in spaces where they're disrespected, taken advantage of, or just honestly hang out with people that like don't care about them. I'll give you an example. I, in the past, have been someone that's kind of a people pleaser, especially when it comes to workplaces, where I have a really hard time saying no and setting boundaries. And I was always thinking to myself, well, it doesn't matter because I know my worth and I know that I'm smart and capable and a good worker and whatever it is. So when I go into these spaces and people are undervaluing me, it doesn't matter, right? That's a reflection of them. And that's true. That's totally true. However, it got to a point where I was there and I wasn't living or working or acting like someone that liked themselves, someone that was confident, someone that had self-worth, because I was minimizing myself in order to make someone that didn't value me more comfortable. And I don't think that's a very reflective experience of a truly confident person. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, moving on to the next one. Your life won't get better by saying yes to everything. For all of you who struggle with FOMO, in a society that really pushes productivity, I think that it's very common to see people who feel like they need to say yes to everything, and that by saying no, they're missing out on things, or their lives are suddenly going to just be more boring or have less value. And I just personally, in my experience, have found that saying no, if anything, improved my life more than saying yes to everything did. You can pick and choose what you want to partake in, and you don't have to reach burnout. And I know things like going to the beach with your friends is fun, and doing all these trips and whatever it is that you're, saying yes to every single time. It's all fun, but it's not fun when you're burnt out and you're doing them and begin to resent people or begin to hate the things that you used to love. And I think that happens when people feel like they need to say yes all the time, or they need to do the most. Also, if I'm squinting, I'm not wearing my glasses because I don't want any glares or anything. Ignore it. You can't convince someone who doesn't value you to value you. I fear we don't have control over these things. If someone doesn't value you, it's not gonna suddenly make them value you more by trying a million times harder. Because a lot of the time when someone doesn't value you, it really is just, they're not getting it, they're not seeing it. And I like to think of it in the sense of, it doesn't have to be super personal. There's certain types of art or artists that I just don't get, like there's certain singers, actors, where everyone might see the vision and I'm not seeing it. And that's okay. Them making all these songs or them changing certain things about themselves isn't going to make me suddenly value these artists, right? But they could just stay the way they are and be authentic to themselves and true to themselves, and they'll end up in spaces where people do value you. So it's more, I guess, go where the people value you, or go where spaces value you, rather than trying to convince people or places that don't value you to value you. That was a lot of value use. Number 4, nobody knows what the fuck they're doing, okay? As far as we know, this is everybody's first experience at life, and we don't know what we're doing. Your mom and dad don't know what they were doing. They might have a better idea now after years of, parenting, but they still are experiencing firsts all the time, and we have to give ourselves grace, and it's normal. And even the people that are the most successful in your eyes started inexperienced and had no idea what they're doing, and they probably still have many experiences where they still don't know what they're doing. So I think it's important to stop comparing yourself to people's end and remind yourselves that it's okay to not have a clue, and we're all figuring it out. So don't compare yourself to people that you think have it all figured out, because they don't. No one does. Gratitude can be hard, but it always helps. This is something I've learned over my life, especially going through hard situations. I think it can be really difficult, especially when you're struggling with depression. There was a time in my life at the end of high school where I was suffering from really intense depression, very debilitating, and I was, trigger warning, suicidal. And it was really tough. And honestly, I remember actually coming to my cottage, funny enough, and looking out at the waves and having a moment that hit me where I was like, oh, it's so pretty, it's so nice, I feel so grateful in this moment to be here. Then feeling almost guilty that I had that moment, because I was like, no, everything sucks. Everything sucks. What do you mean? And it's like, it almost feels like you can't be grateful because everything's hard, and you're trying to stay, I guess, in the this is hard, and I want to acknowledge that and not downplay it. And then the moment like you smile, you're like, fuck, I downplayed it, but I'm still going through a lot. And it's like, it's okay. Things can be really hard, and then you can still find gratitude. And I've always found that gratitude does help, like acknowledging just being able to breathe, and a sunny day, and maybe the whole day was hard, but then someone made you laugh, and that's something to be grateful for. And it doesn't diminish the hard. It doesn't take away the pain, and it doesn't diminish your hard work or your feelings or thoughts, but you can still find gratitude and enjoyment in small moments. And honestly, it's what keeps you moving. I'd say that what helped me get out of my depression wasn't just one big moment of gratitude and discovery. It was a lot of little moments of gratitude of, oh, I'm so happy that ice cream tastes so good, or I'm so happy that it's sunny today. And eventually things ease up a little bit. Yeah. I wish that me last year had known this, but you need to pay attention to your nervous system, your hormones, and your health, especially as a woman. I will say for every single person that your nervous system and hormone health, of course, and just overall general health is the most important thing. But I have noticed for women, especially when you're on birth control and, different things that are kind of thrown onto us, and with such intense hormone shifts, it's so important to pay attention to those. I actually have a hormone imbalance at the moment, and that's because I was doing way too much. I came off of birth control, and then I was burnt out from working 2 jobs, doing full-time school, and I let everything accumulate to the point where I just had this huge, horrible hormone imbalance that erupted on my body, and it caused weight gain, it caused stretch marks, it caused brain fog and disassociation, so just a lot of stuff. Things really do get better. This was something that I learned probably when I was 20, but it's definitely helped in the last couple of years whenever I'm in a rough patch, is that things do get better. Things just change. Change is inevitable, which can be scary, but it can also be fantastic, because no matter what you feel like you're stuck in, it will ease up eventually. And I always think to myself, like, had I, gone through with things when I had a really bad depression, I wouldn't have been able to experience so many beautiful moments since then. Like falling in love with my boyfriend. We've been together almost 5 years now. We live together, and he's my best friend in the whole wide world. And he's someone that I feel like really, the only person that I feel really understands me and gets me. And that experience would not have occurred had I, you get what I'm saying. Everything in my life has gotten better since. I know, especially with high school, when there is so many hormone things happening, and there's just a lot of, I don't know, then COVID happened. There was a lot of uncertainty. I don't know. And it's very easy to feel like things will never get better. But I'm living proof that they do. All right, next one. Ooh, It is far more embarrassing to be in a toxic relationship than to be alone. I will die on this hill. I don't care. I know a lot of people that are in toxic relationships obviously weren't thinking, I want to get into this toxic relationship when they got into one, okay? And I'm not downplaying victims at all or abuse. That's literally not what I'm talking about at all, actually. I'm talking about when I was a teenager, there were a couple times where I would talk to people that were very much red flags, and I was very aware that they were red flags, but I was obsessed with the idea of I need a relationship and a boyfriend, and I just want people to see me and like me and blah 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 blah, right? And I was so embarrassed that I wasn't in a relationship, which is so funny looking back on, but it is far more embarrassing to be in a relationship where you're being treated like shit than to be alone. Moving on. I feel like I don't even need to say too much on that one because it's very obvious. Food is fuel. Okay, yes. Food is fuel, guys. Trigger warning. So as someone that's had an eating disorder, actually a very prevalent raging eating disorder from the ages of 11 until I would say 17. I had a binge eating disorder, I had bulimia, and then I had very intense body dysmorphia. And it is tough. It is very tough. And I definitely commend everyone that's going through that for continuing to try to get healthier and regain their control when it comes to their relationship to food. It is definitely something that takes time, but it is worth it to keep trying and to speak to professionals and to not give in to, you know, that little part of your brain that says that food is bad or, you know, whatever it's saying. Because food is great and food is fuel, and it is not fun to be tired all the time. It is not fun to be cold all of the time. It is not fun for any of that stuff. It's definitely not fun to have acid reflux or, you know, problems. I honestly credit, I think, my irritable bowel syndrome and acid reflux to just years of hurting my body through eating disorders. So food is fuel. Bet on yourself. There's so many times that I hear people have these dreams or these aspirations and then they just don't bet on themselves. And I think that goes along with the idea of true confidence too, because I think a truly confident person is willing to bet on themselves because they know their worth and they know their drive. And I'm going to be doing the things that align with me. And I bet on myself. I'm pretty confident in saying that there's nothing that I can't put my mind to, that I can't try. And I'm also not afraid of failure. And I think that kind of goes along with the betting on yourself, is that failure is part of life. Failure is part of success. That actually might be one of my lessons. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Okay, hold on. We'll talk about that in a second. Explore your interests. I get told from my friends is that they're always very impressed with the amount of hobbies that I have going. Because I'm obsessed with doing hobbies. I love lots of hobbies. Paint, swim, do oil pastels. Me and my boyfriend, we like to play tennis. I done hip hop classes, acting classes, singing classes. What else? Pottery making classes. What else have I done? There's other stuff. Ballet classes. I try different workout classes. Reading I love to do. I love baking. I love cooking. I love this, that, and the other. I'm sure there's more. But I love hobbies, and I always prioritize making time for my hobbies and doing things that interest me. And I think when you're young, but any time, you should be trying to partake in your interests. I feel like it's such a waste not to. And there's so many interests you probably have that don't cost a lot of money. Like, for example, with art, it just takes practice, and singing and music, instruments, whatever. It just takes practice. Piano lessons is another one I tried. And you learn so much about yourself by doing different things that interest you. You know, sometimes I'll be doing something and I'm like, oh, actually, I like watching that more than I like doing that. And I just learned something new about myself. It's very, very fascinating. Or it's like I liked the idea of this more than I actually liked doing it. All right. Therapy. I didn't even have to add anything else. Therapy, babe. Therapy. We all need it. I need it. You need it. Your mom needs it. Your dad needs it. Okay? We need therapy. The thing with therapy is it's fucking expensive, and sometimes it's too expensive, and that's fair. That is so valid. But if there is a point in your life where it is available to you to talk to a professional, I say go for it, because I've gone to therapy consistently for now a year and a half. Before that, I was going to a different therapist, but it was not consistent. And I didn't even go with necessarily big problems. I just went with, I want to talk to someone that has no bias and just kind of run my ideas, my aspirations, my things, minor things that are bugging me, my communication, whatever, past them and just talk. It's so great. It's so nice to just go and talk. You could talk about this friend's pissing me off, this work incident happened, or major things, or, you know, what you really want to do for the summer, like anything. It's so nice to just be able to speak. And so I've gone to therapy using work coverage mostly, and also my school coverage. So if you are a student, definitely look into what your university or college has to offer in terms of insurance for therapy, and same with work. 13, nobody cares, so stop living like they do. Again, this kind of ties into the confidence. This kind of ties into a lot of things, but I honestly, okay, I'm going to tell you something that's a little bit embarrassing, but I feel like more people than just me do this. I am constantly, whenever I listen to music, envisioning myself like doing these impressive things and being like, oh, people would die if they just saw me do this, or like everyone would be gagged. Okay, girl, no one cares. Literally nobody cares, okay? But that's a good thing too. But nobody cares. So why are you living like they do? Why are we so stressed and worried about what other people are going to think or say when literally nobody cares? Even when they make a comment, they don't care that much. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? And we live like they really care. And it's so funny because we just stop ourselves from pursuing things or doing things or saying things or just existing boldly because we're so scared, but whatever. Failure isn't bad, and most times success doesn't come without it. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've heard a successful person in various fields talk about how they failed multiple times before they reached what other people deemed as success, right? Failure is just part of things. Failure is part of being a beginner in anything. I mean, we forget how much we're actively failing all the time because it doesn't feel like it's high stakes. So then we put all this pressure on ourselves. But like when I get into a fight with my boyfriend, that's kind of failure in a relationship, right? I mean, it doesn't happen frequently, but when it happens, one could deem that as a failure, as a fail in the relationship, but it doesn't actually like impact the success of the whole relationship, right? Or it's like if I was to fail one class, I could just retake the class and graduate, for example. I just feel like there's so many things in life that we give up on because we fail, but failing is literally part of the process. And I don't think that's spoken about enough. I think people really make it seem like it's success or fail, but failure is literally an integrated part of being successful. Okay. And you can deem anything as a fail. Like I could deem like making a whole video and then it getting 30 views and like 3 likes and being like, that was a failed video. But was it? Because it was me doing something I wanted to do, and it was me working towards, oh, I'm going to be more consistent. So I was successful in being more consistent. It really is just like your point of view on something. It's very subjective. 15, you don't need to do extra to prove your worth. This is at every employer, okay? Stop making your workers feel like they have to do more when you already didn't even value them, okay? I used to be that bitch that used to pick up all the extra shifts. My boss would be like, can you come in 4 hours early? And I'd be like, yeah, of course, like anything to help. And then, or you're like helping other people taking their shifts and they don't cover your shifts back as a help. Yeah, that's because you learn this pretty fast actually, but just because you're doing the most doesn't mean everyone else will. And it doesn't mean they'll value you more either. It doesn't mean your boss is going to be like, wow, extra perks because you picked up 3 people's, shifts when they were just gonna no-show. No, they don't care actually. Most of them don't care, so don't do things that are just gonna tire you out or make you feel exhausted. Don't do things you don't want to do in order to try and get some approval from other people, especially your boss. You don't need to sabotage your happy life to find yourself. Oh my god. This is actually something that really pisses me off because this is romanticized in film and TV a lot, where it's like she had to break up with her boyfriend who was so nice and caring to her, and like they had a happy relationship because she got bored with her life. She had to move to a whole new country to find herself, and it's like I don't think, unpopular opinion, I don't think you need to uproot your whole life. I don't think you need to sabotage contentment and good things and stability in your life in order to be happy and find yourself. I think you can find yourself while also partaking in those things. If I am happy with my boyfriend, I love my boyfriend, I love being with him, why would I ruin that in order to find myself, new aspects of myself, when I am given space in this relationship to find myself in whatever way I want to find myself at any point. If I need to go on a solo trip for 2 weeks, King's not going to throw a tantrum. We should be rethinking this idea of sabotage before you just, I don't know. Everyone's obsessed with this idea that there's something better out there all the time. And then they put themselves through such painful experiences in order to just like find themselves. And it confuses me because I'm like, why did you do that? You could have just done all that work and, figured out your interests and traveled and done all those things while not uprooting your whole life and sabotaging it and being weird. Like, stop running away from all of your insecurities and all of your things going on and just embrace that it's confusing while also knowing that you can have a stable, happy community around you to support you during the time. Okay, 17. Don't obsess over the stuff you can't control. Talking to all you bitches with anxiety, aka me. This helps me because I am spiritual / religious, so I usually just believe that the universe or God is primarily God, actually, in control, and I'm not, and that helps my anxiety personally. But if you're not someone that's religious or spiritual in any capacity, period, there's no pressure here. I'm not trying to convert nobody, okay? But I think it's just really nice to know that you actually can't control a lot of things. And as someone that likes to pretend I can control things and have really struggled with letting go of that, I have found so much more enjoyment by being like, actually, this is out of my control. Like, I'll be in the plane and I could have a panic attack, and that could be like 90% of the plane ride. Or I could just be like, at this point, I can't control this. I didn't do the plane check. I'm not the pilot. I'm not the plane. I'm not the weather. What can I do? I'm not going to it's not productive to just sit there crying for 4 hours. So I'm just going to let go. And honestly, that's helped so much. And I feel like that's so good for so many situations. But eventually anxiety just becomes so tiring that it's like, I just don't care anymore. I'm not downplaying anxiety. I know it's debilitating. I know it's not rational. I experience it. I have definitely experienced very severe anxiety in my life. I have family members that experience very intense anxiety when they get panic attacks and stuff too. I have a lot of fears. However, I have just come to I have learned to get out of a very anxious episode by maintaining that kind of attitude. Do it scared. Do it scared. I guess that kind of goes with what I just said. Do it scared. It's okay. A lot of the time when we have like reoccurring anxiety about something, it's like you kind of actually want to do it. So just do it scared. What I mean by that is I get a lot of plane anxiety, like I mentioned, and I want to travel and I want to overcome it. And if I didn't want to, it would just be one of those things where I'm like skydiving. I'm like, I don't need to go skydiving. And that's not like an intrusive thought that comes back where it's like, you want to go, just do it. But you're so scared. And then I get that really bad anxiety and my tummy hurts. No, I just don't care. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. Point blank, period. But when I do want to do something, that's when my anxiety comes back, whatever. And that's when you just kind of have to sometimes bite the bullet and do it scared. 19. Most days are just going to be okay. So find your content and be okay with it. This was actually Jim Carrey, I believe, that said, if you think about last year, you can only probably pinpoint a few days that you remember. And that's because most of your days are just okay. Most of your days are just going to be average. They're not crazy bad or crazy good. They're just okay. And that's great. I think we live in a society that's constantly chasing more, or I need this or I need that. And it's like, why? We can just be content. It's okay to be average. It's okay to have an average life. And I think so many people downplay it where they need to have this extraordinary life. But I don't know, like the sun is shining. Nature's naturing, girl. The water is so pretty. I'm just existing. And that's great. I'm content. Contentment sometimes is just fine. And embracing just okay. You actually figure out what you want to chase down that might be extraordinary in your mind. All right. Oh my gosh, guys, we're already on number 20. Number 20, slow down. Ooh, this is for me. I have struggled with this. I've always been someone that's go, 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 multiple different extracurriculars. As a kid, always had so many extracurriculars, 2 jobs since the 10th grade. All of these different things, extroverted, so I was always hanging out with the most amounts of people and doing all these things, and I ran myself to the ground. And one thing I have definitely learned is to slow down. Everything is more enjoyable when I slow down. I'm happier, I'm more at peace, my relationships are better, my mental health is better, the grass is greener, babe. Everything is improved when I just slow down and let myself enjoy things and let myself recover, let my body recover. The go, go, go just ain't it anymore. I don't know. 21. You can do hard things. Yes, that's right. You are capable of doing hard things. And you will do hard things throughout your life. Life is not perfect. Life is not all sunshine and rainbows. Guarantee you've already done hard things and you'll do it again. You can get through hard things. That's all I have to say. 22. School and work are important, but they're not everything. Yes, that's true. School and work are great. They're important. I will never ever sit here and say that those things don't matter. However, they're not everything. And I think sometimes we romanticize it as being everything because we want to be successful and we want people to think we're successful. But it's okay to have other aspects of your life and to focus on those aspects as well and to balance it. I think balance is key. 23. Honor your inner child. I think this is so important. To honor your inner child, to do the things that little you enjoyed. That little you still exists, and I like to pay my respect to my queen 5-year-old me, 3-year-old me, 13-year-old me, 17-year-old me, all the time. I still like to do so many of the little things. I like to watch nostalgic movies and eat my favorite childhood snacks and just make little me happy because she deserves to be happy. Okay, 24, our last one. Dream big always, okay? I think dreaming and having dreams in general is one of the most, if not the most, magical thing in life. I just think how crazy and cool is it that we can dream up whatever we want and make it our reality. It's just so happy and inspiring, and it's honestly the closest thing to magic we have. So dream, dream, dream. Dream, baby. Oh my god, I'm thinking dream, 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 dream. Okay, my phone died and I can't use my mini mic when it's charging, so I'm gonna end this here, but I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching and don't forget to subscribe.